Joining me now is a great thinker on these things. Here to talk a little bit about the fallout from the Twitter file revelations. We have with us Professor in Exile, Champion of Liberty, Professor Michael Rectenwald. How you doing?
Great, David. How are you?
Great. Sorry, you caught me in a little bit of a sermon. What's new with you?
Well, I have a new book coming out, as you might know, and called The Great Reset and the Struggle for Liberty. So that's coming out in just any day now.
Oh, nice. Where can people order that if they want to get a pre-order?
They can pre-order it on my website right now at michaelrectenwald.com.
Very good. So tell me, what do you think? We're talking about this great reset, and you talk about it in your book. How does what you see coming out of Elon Musk and the Twitter file revelations, Yoel Roth and the weird stuff this guy was doing, who knows, all the stuff that we don't even see behind the scenes. And tell me a little bit about your thinking, some of the highlights from the revelations and some of the insights you think we might glean from that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely shows a number of things. Besides the fact that, Twitter operated as a organ of the state and the Democratic Party in particular, we know that they were also suppressing speech, of course, violating the First Amendment because it isn't a platform. It isn't a privately owned platform when the state is involved in directing Twitter employees and executives to censor speech. This becomes a direct violation of the First Amendment. So that's for sure. And then we know also that they've interfered in elections. We're going to find out more about that, but we're going to find out a lot about, apparently we're going to find out about some of the COVID crisis travesties that have been unleashed on us. And with Musk tweeting that, Fauci will be exposed and that he should be, indicted or he should be convicted of crimes. So this is all really good. And we can't, as you said, this is something to be glad about. These are good, positive developments. And Musk's Neuralink is something notwithstanding we can handle otherwise.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get people to see, is that it doesn't mean you go and, the problem is people are so desperate for leadership that they cling to people in a needy way, right? They make these little idols out of people. And we just need to learn to see things in a sober way and realize that there are great wins we can have even if someone's got not the right agenda on some things,
Oh, absolutely. We don't know where Musk is coming from in total, but as far as what he's doing at Twitter, this is good stuff. And we're talking about unleashing, not only allowing people the freedom of expression, but unleashing some deep, dark secrets about what's been underway with the deep state and big tech as their proxy and tool. So, that's a big deal. That's good news. And we should welcome that. And hopefully, he'll reinstate these accounts that he said he would. I'm still banned, but I'm waiting to see if I get reinstated. I don't know why I wouldn't. I didn't do anything illegal. And I merely expressed some opinions. And hopefully that's rectified.
Was your thing, I can't remember, was that about COVID something you said?
No, I was talking about the neo-Malthusianism of this subversive elites and how they want to control the population using several prongs, including abortion, but also transgender ideology. And I said nothing against any particular transgender individuals. I'm talking about a cultural mania that is sweeping the country, and that is pernicious. It's wicked.
Right. Yeah. What do you think is the best antidote to that hatred of life that we see seeping in to the mainstream culture. I think
So
that if you fight it, if you react to it, it makes it stronger. There's got to be another way of creating a visionary alternative.
Oh, absolutely. The problem is we're dealing with people that may be gone to the dark side such that they are not reachable. So we don't really necessarily have to reach them. What we need to do is reach those that are within reach that haven't been completely brainwashed or ideologically indoctrinated or haven't put the pieces together to see what all these pieces represent together. And so there are many people out there that aren't bad people at all. I'd say the vast majority are good people. And they're just seeking to know, and maybe some of them aren't seeking to know, but they need to know what's on the agenda and what we can do to stop it. And that would be ultimately providing another vision, which has to be, I believe, a vision that comes from a higher authority, which comes from an ultimate authority. There's no grounding of goodness outside of God. There's no way to ground it. There's no warrant for it. So that's what we need to ground it on.
I totally agree. What do you think it will take to get people excited about pursuing the truth and moral goodness grounded in what Jesus represents? I mean, do you think that this is a matter of more people like Elon Musk taking control of media pipelines and just kind of making it more fair and open, and that will allow the truth to penetrate more effectively? Or do you think it's going to take a more like something from the art scene or, the academic world? Or, is it going to be a technological revolution? Maybe all of the above, but where's your thinking around there that's going to start getting people to say, you know what, we got to go back to really imitating Jesus, which means we can't go into this chaos of worshiping your desires and worshiping your passions and becoming a slave to them,
I think it's going to be about representation, and it's not necessarily going to come through any technological innovation. This will not be Deus Ex Machina. What we need to do is represent the truth as an adventure to go. It's an adventure to go on. Going on this journey with God is a personal adventure that makes life extremely rewarding. It's not about, we need to emphasize the fact that the source of all goodness is God and Jesus, his son. And, I don't mean to preach, but it comes down to representing it as a great adventure in a great journey. And that has to get across. We can't rely on technological fixes or cultural fixes. I believe it's going to come from an interior revolution of the soul, and it won't come from outside.
Do you think we're going to have to be broken as a nation, completely economically destroyed to get there? I say that, and at the same time, I think of the hell that Russia went through, where they had the Soviet Union horrifically ripping apart the family, ripping apart the fabric of the church, destroying their values, normalizing horrific stuff. And then they get away from that monster, and then they get picked apart by these oligarchs that come in from the West and just totally ravage their economy and accelerating early deaths and alcoholism. And I think, well, maybe not guaranteed that tyranny, which was the Soviet Union phase of that, and then economic collapse and devastation, which was the fall and collapse of the Soviet Union, neither situation seemed to really create a vibrant return, because you still see abortion high in Russia. You still see early deaths and alcoholism and divorce super high. So that's not a given, and I think it's important that folks don't valorize the idea of, well, we'll come to our senses once we have a collapse. Not necessarily. So what do you think it'll look like to help? I mean, because you're a professor and you have to, that's your background. And so you know how to motivate and help people see what that adventure looks like and how to get going on it,
Yeah, I don't know that, that an economic collapse will necessarily lead to this unless there are clear voices crying in the wilderness as to what is the path, and because it's going to be difficult to extricate ourselves from the kinds of disaster that is looming large at this point. And it's not on the horizon, it's closer than that. So it's going to take some serious visionaries to be in public eye and to give some sort of direction to the public. We need our Elijahs. We need contemporary prophets now. I don't know if that violates your theology, but I believe the prophecy continues. It's not canonical, but it's still a gift, and that's something that we're going to have to rely on.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I agree with the idea that the prophet spirit mind, someone who's prophetic doesn't have to be something that scares people's theology in the sense of like trying to create a new part of the canon, but rather it allows people to be the kind of personality that's in tune with seeing the way things are without the hive mind completely infecting them, right? Someone who's a prophet type mind is able to kind of step outside of the melee of the kind of fashionable mindsets, whether it's atheism or nationalism or socialism or nihilism or whatever, and be able to see the big picture and say, this is not good, this is not right, we've got to go a different way. That's what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're going to see some serious. I don't know about disaster, but we're going to see some very difficult times. But I think that I do believe that the spirit of the American people, whatever else we might say about them, are very, very durable, very, very recalcitrant against this onslaught. I think we have a strong contingent of people who will serve as at least a remnant around which to build. And I'm not saying that it's the end times or something, but it's a remnant that we can build a society on. And that remnant will be, it'll come from surprising sources as well as, expected ones.
Exactly. And I think about it all the time, how there are so many people out there who are hungry for some kind of something to rally around outside of the normal. You saw that with Jordan Peterson's rise to fame. He's kind of gone in a different direction, a little bit more kind of different angle now that I think some people have been disappointed with. But there's this hunger for something that has meaning and has purpose and has vision. And it's so hard, though, for us to see through the narratives of our time to realize that it's not quaint or stupid or outdated to just believe in a patently obvious thing that we most likely have a creator and that creator's fingerprints can be identified in history and in our heart,
Right, exactly.
That's
I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
Pardon? Yeah, I'm not sure who these people will be, and it's not necessarily like some sort of elect. It could come from very unexpected directions, but I think we're going to be. Ultimately, we're fine. That is, if we get on the right path. But I don't know about social. I'm not sure how much Christianity is a social resuscitation movement, or how much of it is, frankly, about individual transformation. And I think it's mostly the latter. And if it helps to build a great society, that's good. But that's not the ultimate objective, I think.
Right. Yeah. I think it's both, and I think that your work is an example of that, because you're able to tie in a lot of the individual initiative aspects of what we need to do, but also understanding the big the big picture of how ideas have consequences and culture is not in a vacuum, and it comes from history. And I think your work has been good at helping people see that. So I appreciate you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, check out michaelrectenwald.com. And any last thoughts on your book and what people can expect in it?
Well, it's long. It's 398 pages, and there's everything in there about the Great Reset that you want to know, and some you don't want to know, but it's there.
Well, very good, sir. Thank you for coming on, and always great to have you. And a lot of people are interested in the ideas that you're talking about. And so check out michaelrectenwald.com again to see his book. Pre-order it today. And that's it for A Neighbor's Choice, folks. For hour one, you can email me hello@aneighborschoice.com. That's hello@aneighborschoice.com. And we will continue to have exciting guests, more podcasts, more topics to empower your life. We got a lot of things going on in the seed oil world. Thing is taken off, man. I mean, we were the only guys in town doing this on radio daily and whatever about the seed oil topic. And we were doing the high-level conversation, as you know, with all the scientists, doctors, researchers, and professors, making that conversation, putting people together that had never been put together in a room, letting them. That was a shadow university, and it still is. But you're seeing it spread more and more. People are realizing the outsized impact that the seed oils have had on causing mental health crises, all these chronic diseases, difficulty overcoming infectious diseases. And I want you to know we will still be the tip of the spear of that information movement. So check out our podcast. Go to aneighborschoice.com. Put your email in to get our weekly update there. You can also go search for my name, David Gornoski, at your favorite podcast platform. People say some of these platforms, shadow or throttle us or whatever. It doesn't matter. You'll find it. Find us, subscribe, rate it, review it, and that will help people view it just like you. I'm David Gornoski. Godspeed.